Hey there, and thanks for clicking on the video. This is the second of the Ultimate Runner videos, and I'm going to take you through the cross-country 5K that's at the end of the meet in this video. Just for a little bit of context, this 5K occurred directly after all of the track events, so everyone's tired, everyone's hot. Well, I'm assuming so. It's tomorrow. This is Friday night. I haven't run it yet, but this is the intro for it. So welcome to the Ultimate Runner cross-country 5K. Here's my results from the previous 4 years of Ultimate Runner, and I really just want to look at the fifth row here. You look at the cross-country 5K, and I've improved my time each year. That was really one of my goals going into this year's 5K, was to see if I could do better, maybe even squeak under 19 minutes. So unlike the other events, the 5K is a mass start. We're all starting together, all 114 runners. Here we go. And we're off. This 5K, even though it's cross-country, it starts with 600 meters around the track, so that's a lap and a half. We're starting on the backstretch. We will do a full lap, come back to where we started, and then do 200 and exit the track over a bridge that's just past these buildings here. So on this next lap, we're going to exit on the right here. I like how this 5K starts on the track, it also ends on the track, because the first lap you can really gauge how fast you're going versus how fast you should be going, and it helps you kind of string out, get into the pack you need to get into before we get to the very surfaces. Every year is different at Ultimate Runner when it comes to the 5K. Some people are really just treating it as a cool down after those 4 hard track events. Others are continuing to go hard. I'm generally one of the ones who goes hard because the 5K is suited more to my strengths than the shorter track events. But this year is a quick field. A lot of young people, a lot of tweens, teens and 20s in this field, and a lot of them still have some energy left. So old guys like me have to really work hard to let them know we're still around. Alright, so there's the first lap. I think I glanced at my watch and saw about 85 seconds, which I knew was too fast for this particular course, this particular night. The burly guy in the Saucony singlet who just passed me, his name is Will. He is seeded number 2 for this Ultimate Runner, and he was running super fast during some of the track events. I was surprised he waited until 400 meters to get around me. But we're going to see him again a few times. We're exiting the track now, going over this bridge, and we're going to take a hard left onto some soft surfaces. It's going to be dirt and pine needles and mulch for a couple hundred meters. I'm trying to keep in contact. Lots of pack running here. I kind of want to get around Will, but I need to gauge my move right. There's going to be another hard 90-degree left over a small bridge here, and not only am I trying to keep in contact with this pack, but there's another pack right behind me, and even as I get around these guys, once we make this hard left onto the bridge, I'm going to feel hands on my back. You know, it's that kind of race. No one's trying to be nefarious or anything about it. It's tight quarters, and no one really wants to trip over anyone. So no one's pushing me. They're just making sure that we don't trip over each other. So a lot of these dirt paths like this, it's a game of how long do I stick with these other runners, and when do I make my move, and how much energy am I going to use to make my move. And I've run this race several times. I like this course, so I know when the course is going to open up and where the safe places to make my moves are. And in a couple hundred meters here, we're actually going to hit some asphalt. That's going to be a good place to spread out and get around each other. And I'm aware that the camera angle is slowly drifting up in this part of the race. It will get better, but the camera was moving around on my head, and while it's on my forehead, I don't exactly know during running whether it's pointing forward or pointing a little bit up, but we'll still be able to see the race. So there's Will getting back ahead of me. He is still trying to fight for his place there, and we're settling into kind of a chase pack of 4 here. The leaders are a good 15 to 20 seconds ahead of us at this point. A lot of them we're not going to see again, but some of them we will. So this circuit of Haynes Park that we're running, it's a 2-loop course, so we're going to run around the park twice, and then we're going to end on the track for the final 500 meters. So a lot of this course you're going to see again. But the circumstances may be different because there might be different people around me. We get off of this double track and we're going to get in this open meadow here where it's more of a single path. There's room to get around each other, but you're also fighting for that worn, hard dirt path. We're coming up on the 1 mile mark soon. The stats syncing with my Garmin are about 100 meters ahead of where I actually am. It's just the timestamps vary. So what you see, it just says 1 mile. We're not actually to the 1 mile until we see the mark on the right. As we get to this 1 mile mark, I check my watch and it says 5:56, which again is too fast. It's not really sustainable for this course. A lot of that I owe to the first 600 meters on the track. The second mile I know will be a little bit slower because there's no track in the second mile, and some of the footing up ahead is a little bit more energy sapping, a little bit more precarious. We'll see some of that. You can still run pretty fast on this surface right here. But here, as we go under this bridge the first time, you notice I went a little bit to the left as I dipped under the bridge. That's because there's a hard step down, which you can either go to the left and go around, or you can try and go over, but that's a little bit more dangerous. I chose to take the safe route this time. This part of the course is deceiving. It's on grass, but there's a camber to the right, and there are a lot of depressions in the grass that are really hard to see, so you really have to be careful with your footing here. It's not an easy place to run fast. And then we have these 2 consecutive hard left 90-degree turns right here at the middle school. 1 and 2. You almost kind of have to reach for the poles and swing shot yourself around. GPS has a hard time on this part of the course. I think I checked my watch here and saw it was like 7-minute miles, and figured I don't need to worry about pace. This one's about place. Here we dip into a gated area that's heavily wooded for a few seconds. I like to call this part Narnia. And then we'll dip under the bridge again. This section under the bridge is just straight up sand underfoot, so that's really energy sapping. But then you break out in the open here and you're back onto hard dirt. It's a good, fast path, and you can start making moves again. Speaking of making moves, I'm hearing footsteps behind me at this point. Runner number 25 is coming up on my right, and I can tell he's older than me, which makes it that much harder to take when he passes me with authority. And we're both going to make a couple of passes here. I'm going to try and keep up with old boy here. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to catch him again. He's just going to keep on widening that gap. But I do see Will coming back to me, and I'm going to try and close in on him. trick is to not close in too fast and use up too much energy, otherwise he'll pass me right back. So we've passed Will. Right about at this point, where we passed the bridge where we came onto this path, we're about halfway through the 5K. I think that's why I was checking my watch right there, is to see how much time had passed. And seeing 9:20 something, I knew I was on pace for a sub 19, but I knew I was going to have to keep on pressing to do it because, again, the second half is never easier than the first half. But here we are on our second loop of Haynes Park now. The upcoming hard left onto this bridge, I'm still going to have people right behind me. So I can tell I'm closing in on another small pack, but I also know that there are people closing in on me. So I'm having to fight for every position in this race. This guy, I passed him early on, and I guess I never really dropped him because he just passed me back. So I don't want to let him get away, but I also want to keep on tracking down the people ahead of me. And this won't be the last time someone passes me in this race. Once we get back on the asphalt here, I know that I can start turning over a little more quickly, and I know I'm going to reel this guy back in. Also, we're starting to run into some of the back of the pack who are still on their first loop through Haynes Park. So there will be some traffic to get around, both people that are directly competing against me and people that are back of the pack that we are all getting around. But we're coming up on mile 2 pretty soon. When I pass the mile 2 marker, my watch says about 12:06, 12:04, 12:06. A little bit more appropriate. Still on pace for a sub 19, but it shows a more conservative second mile. Well, it didn't feel more conservative, it just had to be. So the blue singlet ahead of me that I am chasing is Jason Jabot, who is a 2-time overall winner of Ultimate Runner, and he was actually the fastest mile runner in this year's event. And I didn't know it was Jason at the time, I was just chasing a blue singlet. So what's going through my head right now with about 1,500 meters to go? I'm feeling very lactic. I'm feeling like I have put in a little bit too much effort for this far in the race. So the mantra that's going through my head right now is tempo it out, tempo it out. See if I can will my body into clearing some of that acid and then maybe gathering something up in a few minutes for a hard push. So we're coming up on the tricky underpass under the bridge here. And this time, instead of going safely to the left of the step down, I take the trickier jump down because I want to try and gain a step or two on Jason ahead of me. So right after I overtook Jason, he told me, keep running tough. And I didn't know if that meant, keep going, I'm not covering your move, or keep running hard because I want to key off of you and see if I can pass you in a little bit. These are the things that I'm thinking about this far into a race. And I'm just concerned about keeping the person I passed behind me. Still trying to work around some traffic here. We're about to get back into Narnia and find Mr. Tumnus. This sand under the bridge doesn't feel any better the second time than it does the first time. But I do know that busting out in the open here is a landmark that tells me I'm about 1,000 meters from the finish. So this is where I start turning the screws. Mentally at least, I know that I can find another gear. Up ahead, I can see a young gentleman in a green racing kit. His name is Wayne, and he's the next person I'm going to try and track down in this final kilometer. And here's the hard left going back onto the track, and my friend Elizabeth actually caught a great shot of me getting back onto the track. And only after seeing that clip did I realize how close behind me Jason still was, as well as the next runner, who we're going to see again here in a few moments.
Number 15, Christopher Sabaldi. 25, Craig Hindley. Number 9, Wade Williams. 17, Chaz Williman.
Okay, in my head I'm hearing the bell ring because we're passing the finish line and we have 400 meters left, and I am tracking down Wade right now. Now Wade happens to be about a third of my age, and he's not only a good runner, but he's also a very adept high jumper who can clear 6'5", which is just under 2 meters in the high jump. So bib number 12 made a masterful move right here, passing me on the right. I didn't even know he was there, and I honestly couldn't match his move because I was already kind of trying to close things down as it was.
Go, brother.
And there's Wade again, and all I can really do is cheer him on because I don't have what it takes to match his move either. And he is breathing really audibly, so he is fighting for it. All right, final 100 meters, let's go. Trying to preserve that sub 19 and not let anyone else pass me.
Joe Burns. Jordan Stamper. Hindley. That is Wade Williams. Chaz Willimon.
Get your t-shirt.
That is
There it is, 1854, and we are directed in the finisher chute to the table where we pick up our coveted Ultimate Runner finisher shirts.
Ultimate Runner finish. Number 18, Christopher Sabalon. Number 25, let's welcome Craig Height.
All right, final tallies. If we look at the 5K row now, we can see that I maintain my streak of improving my 5K time at this event every year. This might have been the best improvement I made. And I made sub 19, which was another unofficial goal of mine. We look at the points and standings. I was 18th overall out of 114 runners. But like I said, this is a deep field. It was a young field too. So I won my age group. Past couple years, I did not get any awards, so I'm back in the awards this year, and I get my cup. All right, we'll wrap up this video with a little shoe talk. You might know from the thumbnail that the shoe I used for this Ultimate Runner cross-country 5K was the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris. And if you followed my shoe at all for the past year and a half, then you know how I feel about this shoe. I love this shoe as a go-fast shoe, as a short-distance racer, as a middle-distance racer, as something that just helps me feel fast moving forward. Last week, I raced a 10K in its brother or sister, the Metaspeed Sky Paris, and that 10K was mostly flat, but it was on mixed surfaces. It was half paved, half unpaved, although not really technical at all. And this was really good for just maintaining a solid pace. I said last week that if I had intended to be surging or doing a lot of sharp turns, going up little rises and stuff like that, then I would want something a little bit more forward focused, like the Edge Paris. I really think I can corner better in this shoe just with its, tipping you forward bias. I really feel like this is a corner turner, and it felt like that to me. A little bit of thunder in the distance. Anyway, this shoe felt really good, even though it was a cross-country race and there were very few paved surfaces. And last year, for the same race, I used the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 3 to good effect. This probably still would have been a more stable choice. I still felt faster in this shoe, and I ran faster this year. It is starting to rain. So yeah, I think any given surface that's not too technical, this is still going to be my race shoe of choice for a short race in which I'm going to be varying intensities and surging and making sharp turns and speeding up and slowing down and responding to moves. Yeah, I have a love affair with the Edge Paris. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to the cross-country 5K portion for the second video in my Ultimate Runner series this year. Before I get stormed on, I'm going to sign off. So don't forget to like, subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, and we'll bring some more videos to you. See you in the next run.